Hello, 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 my energy empire. You already know what time it is. You're locked in with your girl, Ms Keeks, and you're here listening to Streetkeeks TV platform. And this platform is dedicated to hip hop and urban culture. And you know, it's black entertainment and black excellence. So we always got it locked over here, especially when we're here. So, energy empire, tell a friend to tell a friend. Lock into Streetkeeks TV. Check out the platform across the board. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. But in the meantime, let's see what the girl Ms Banks is dealing with. Yes, Energy Empire. So, we have to talk about your girl, Ms Banks. South Ldn Lover Girl album is scheduled to drop. It was actually scheduled to drop last week, but we have to now wait a month and we're not mad at it. So, before we even get a chance to listen to the album, Ms Banks has dropped a few things recently and we like to see it because she hasn't recently dropped an album from since Bank Statement, which was if we're in 2026 right now, that was like 3 years ago. So 3 years ago was her last album and I liked that album. So now we're coming into 2026 era and you got South Ldn Lover Girl from the one and only Big Banks. So far she's dropped a visualizer. Why? I saw that. I'm yet to check that out. So you know what? I thought, why not? Let's just get straight to it and then probably check out what she's been speaking on, as I've seen that she's been on a little promo run.
Piece of advice I give to someone trying to get into the industry would be put yourself out there, whether it's online or physically. Show your talent and network, because you just don't know who you might meet and they could honestly help you advance your career. My own personal motto is to be optimistic and to always affirm greatness over yourself. Only speak well of yourself, don't speak ill of yourself.
London ladies, na 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 na. Keys have money in her pocket so she feel nice. She not borrow girl clothes in her real life. She not sponge pan a boy what him feel like. Can buy some drink if him feel like. Nobody worry about Keys, she alright.
It was all a dream. I used to watch JBC. I know me they are Streetkeeks TV. I just a black ghetto youth like me. You can be anything that you wanna be, yeah. Here man, I'm a Tom Holiday out of the slum king. I represent for Streetkeeks TV Entertainment. Out of the slum, Streetkeeks gonna road you know how.
From here the voice you don't know, say I just son representing for Streetkeeks TV Entertainment. You don't know, We have real friends, but we have some fake ones too.
Yo, you done those tiny booster. You feel me? Straight out of Pecknob, SO1. Alright, now you're locked to with Streetkeeks TV. You already know the hottest. You already know what's really good.
So, two visualizers off of the official album come in. The album officially is called South Ldn Lover Girl. First visualizer to drop off the album is Why. Second, South Ldn Lover Girl. And Ms Banks has been in a hot girl era. So I'm looking forward to hearing what she's coming with. Because considering that she hasn't dropped an album for 3 years, I was wondering why she was a little bit quiet. But the minute that I saw that she said album was ready, I was like, I'm hoping it's going to be what I expect it to be. And she said it's going to be a 10. So I don't expect it nothing to be less than that. You see me? So right away, Ms Banks is one of my favorite female rappers in the game, truly. So we're not even going to waste no time. And no biasness. Straight lyrics. And when I think about the album, what am I expecting? Well, you know what? I'm expecting a lot from Ms Banks because she always comes with authenticity for one. But she never stops when it comes to the visuals. She always puts out. So I'm looking forward to hearing some choppy lyrics, some girls anthems, maybe some hardcore street stuff, but it's a mix. It's a mix because the album's called South Ldn Lover Girl, so you know she's gonna come with that grit. But then you know that she's gonna come with that cutesy. So let's see what Ms Banksy has for us. Let's just get straight to it. Why?
3 pieces of advice I'd give to artists that are looking to break into the industry. I think the number one thing I would say is to be confident. I don't know if fake it till you make it the right thing, because like I just said earlier, I don't really like saying that. Well, I think you should push yourself to do the uncomfortable things, to take the risk, even when it does feel scary, even when you don't feel ready, because you're never going to be ready if that's what you're waiting for. Find what is truly authentic to you and push and represent that, because people feel it. And not to be liked, but to find your tribe and the people that really work with you and understand you. And 3, don't be scared to fail, and fail quickly, because failing only means that you're trying.
And if you haven't seen a documentary that I've done on Ms Banks, you need to just have a look on my page and you will see it right there. And there's other artists on there that you can also check out. And don't forget to go and check out the community posts, follow, comment, like, dislike. You already know how it goes. And just keep checking out Streetkeeks TV across all the platforms. But anyway, South Ldn Girl. I like the black of the block. Yeah. Jeez. Jeez, hold on a minute. Are you hearing? Wait, hold on a minute. Yeah? Ms Banks. You see, when you don't do music yet and you're working on self and you come back and self is speaking growth, hey, I can't lie. All I can do is respect it. Yeah. Jeez. Facts. And we've all seen what's happening right now with Glorilla and her sister. Hey, you see one thing, yeah, when they say, yeah, the top is lonely, it is a true thing, because when you're climbing up and you have a vision and you aspire to do something, nobody in your circle is with you. It's very rare. They're scarce. You see it. But when you are reaching to your success points and peaking, there everybody goes, feeling entitled, wanting to say this and do that. It's all long. But you know something? This is what it's like, innit? Facts. Pause. And did you hear that? She said, I'm angry. I should not feel ashamed or afraid to be reduced. I'll be called out of my name. But before I catch a charge, I got to charge it to the game. Boss! Lyrics. Yeah. And you know, one thing I really liked about that is the fact that she said, why does she have to have fear to show emotions? And that's something that is a big thing when you're in the industry, or overall when you're in the limelight, and not even in the limelight, just overall as individuals. they say when you show emotions, it's weakness. And no, when you are someone who has emotional intelligence and emotional discipline, yeah, that is strength. That's strength on a whole nother level that most people can't comprehend. But most people think, oh, when they see a one person crash out or somebody gets emotional, like, oh, they're weak, they're weak, they're weak. It's not usually about weak. It's just sometimes it's that point where they have to just release and move forward. And I know that because I do that. Ooh, singing. Yeah. One thing I do like is the essence of Ms Banks stepping out of her tomboy era and jumping into her South Ldn Girl era. Softness. I like this for Ms Banks. And you know what? She's been doing this for a moment because she's been on her slim and trim thing. And you know, she's been on her healthy eating. And you know, just focusing on self. And that is one thing I like about Ms Banks, because she's always working on self and she's humble. And when it's time to deliver, she does just that. Ooh, nah, Ms Banks is chopping lyrics. She said, why does she have to be determined? Yeah, did she use the word determined? Let me just pull that back. Yes, she said, why does she have to be determined by the fact if she's got a kid or a man? And that's one thing that we need to stop doing as people of the culture. When we see black women without a man or without child, we're quick to assume in the Caribbean culture that they're barren, meaning that they can't have children, something's wrong with them, they're a mule, in other words, that they will say. Or when it comes to the single things, they say, oh, she can't find a man. Or they might say, oh, she's a pick-me, that's the reason why she can't get a man. Or they might say, she's too alpha female and all of this and all of that. Heard it all before. You understand me, energy empire? We need to stop doing that, because sometimes women are just single for the sake of being single and focusing on self because they've been in situations prior and it didn't work. And healing is something that you have to do before you step into another relationship. So before we're quick to critique single women, how about we respect the fact that some are actually healing? And how about we respect the fact that some just actually want to be single? And how about we respect the fact that we should just mind our own damn business? And I know it's DAMN for the slow class. You get me? We just drop it street style, because I'll be DAMNED if someone tries to come over here and tell me how to SPELL, okay?
Words up, diamond in the rough, black skin, old heart, work hard, but it ain't enough. Count it up, on off, zone off, all wins, no loss. No loss.
Tell me why I make you feel less than. Why my worth can be determined by the fact I got a kid or a man. Tell me why the system don't give a damn. Why am I more at risk in labor due to race, even if it was planned? Why I got a kid or a man? Tell me why the system don't give a damn. Why am I more at risk in labor due to race, even if it was planned? Why was she found in a house unalive? Her neighbors called police for help for 20 minutes, they just stayed outside.
And I know it's DAMN for the slow class. You get me? We just drop it street style, because I'll be DAMNED if someone tries to come over here and tell me how to SPELL, okay? Storytelling. Woo. Facts. I like the way she called out the discrimination of black women right there. Big up yourself, Ms Banks. I like that, because did you hear what she said? Yeah. If people compliment her and say she's pretty for a black girl, she's supposed to take that as a compliment. She knows that's a slight. She knows that's a shade. She's a disrespect. It's always melanin magic. Nothing more, nothing less. You understand that? So you see, when you want to talk about certain things like, oh, she's pretty for a black girl, listen, nothing more on that. We don't want to hear that, because when you're talking about black women, let's just get it right. Black women individually are beautiful in their own way and their own rights. Yes, you can discuss it and say, oh, some black women are ugly. That's for you to say. But if you want to say that in your mind and keep that to yourself, because we already have it in our culture where we're always teared down. So if you don't need to call someone out for their looks, yeah, just raggle like that, there's no need for it. It's different if you're critiquing someone privately, possibly publicly, depending on your field, and saying to them like, you know, I think you could do this or you could do that a little bit better or something. Yeah, that's different. But when you're just going to go and make these little slights when it comes to colorisms, categories, we need to do better. But anyways, yeah, let me not ramble on too much because we can go on all day. But I like the way she said that, because it is a true thing. Yeah. Cheers. Like that. Nice. Lovely. I like that, Banksy. I'm ready for the next visual.
I would just say be confident in yourself and ask yourself questions. Like, I feel like when you know what you're about, it's easy to make moves. If you don't know what you're doing, then you're going to have someone else that's going to plan everything for you. But if you get to really know you and what you're about and you're confident with it, when you give people your ideas, they'll be quick to follow behind you and let you take the lead, because they know you know what you want. So I'll just say be confident, speak.
Energy Empire. So first visualizer was why. Now we are reacting to South Ldn Lover Girl. So let's see what's going on. Yeah. Yes, Banks. I like it. Your Twitter conversation. I'm respecting it. Most definitely. First thing is first. Let's talk about the still shot. Beautiful. A black beauty. Ms Banks, listen, I'm liking this storytelling. I am liking the look. Furthermore, I like it all right now. So far, I ain't got nothing negative to say, because you're delivering right now. Was I expecting this from your album? In between, because I've been seeing what you've been doing and I've been following your transition development. So yeah, okay, I like it. And right now, just listening to this tune is giving as if Summer Walker could feature on it. Cheese. Growth in the music. Yeah. Pause it. Energy Empire. Who is ready for this new era of Ms Banks? The storytelling in this track is nice. I'm not gonna lie. And normally when Ms Banks is rapping, she raps and she just raps. She handles it how she handles it. But you see, in this catalogue of music here, what we're getting, this is like, this is the true authenticity of hip hop, like storytelling, bringing your art form to life, not just putting a song with a video together. Like this has got perspective. There's message behind this. Like, yes, yes, Banks, I like this. Pause it a minute, Energy Empire. Hold on a minute. Energy Empire, are you listening? So if you're following along with the storyline, it's a girl expressing that she was chasing a bag and she thought that she was going to be with a guy that was going to be the right type, as it was her type. He was a bad man getting money. And I'm gonna lie, you know, when I saw that lyrics, I instantly thought about My Name is China, when he's like, all you girls like his bad man, yeah, and this, that, and this, that. I just heard China and King Rich's, yeah, off of back chat, when, you know, black women or women in general say, oh, we want the thugs, the this and the that. And it's not that we want the thugs and the this and the that. What it is we want a guy who is making money and a guy who is a protector. Now, if he falls into the category of being a guy who is a bad man, yes, we know we shouldn't be with the bad man. But if you're from the streets, then it kind of goes with what it goes with, innit? You're from the streets, so you're dealing with someone who is not a part of the system, and he happens to be a trapper, a rapper, or a gangster. Yeah, did you hear that? So, you know, when you think about Banks saying that in a story, it's like, hold on, ladies, do you really think that a bad man was going to be the one to be the best for your life? Obviously not, man. Before you come over here, we do know much more than that, yeah? And we do have common sense. But for the story, Ms Banks is giving it to us how it's supposed to be given, because this is a typical case scenario in the community with men and women when you're from the streets. And the funniest thing about it is this: until you get older, you actually look at the fact that, oh, when you think about people who's from the streets, you automatically put them in the cruff section, like riffraffs, right? So, you know, when you are young and you're dating the crufts, the riffraffs, you don't see it as nothing. It's when you get older, you recognize that, rah, I was dealing with the crufts and the riffraffs. And the maddest thing is, you should have already known that they was crufts and riffraffs because they're from the streets. But when you are someone who's a part of the street culture, you don't see other people who's in the streets hustling and grinding and trying to make a survival, whether it's negative or positive, as a cruft. You just see them as a hustler. So it's funny how sometimes when I listen to this, oh, black women should take accountability for the men that they choose, because if you're going with rappers, trappers and gangsters, then what do you expect? I think it's bigger than that. I think for us, what it is, and let me just speak for myself, I think on my perspective, as I have been with someone who's from the streets in these kind of categories, yes, we do need to take accountability for the type of men that we pick. But speaking for myself as a woman who is from the streets and has, yes, we do need to take accountability for the type of men that we pick. But speaking for myself as a woman who is from the streets and has been someone who has dated men in the categories of riffraff, yeah? I'm not going to specify what kind of riffraff they were, if they was a gangster, a criminal, a trapper, a rapper, or a whatever. What I will say is this. It's bigger than just thinking about, oh, I'm dating a riffraff when you're younger. You respect the fact that they're getting to the bag. You respect the fact that they're hustling and they're making a means, doing what it is that suits their comfort. Some people, you see, one thing I learned growing up in the communities that I've come from, yeah? I have seen many of us come out and say we're going to go to college, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And some of us have given it a shot, and some of us have learned along the way that it's just not for us. So some of us has decided to take steps to the left, whilst others have decided to take steps to the right. Now, I have been someone who's been imbalanced in my youthful stages because I mix the streets with professionalism. And as you can see, my brand is called Streetkeeks TV, and people will think, oh yes, she's still doing the same thing now. And I wouldn't say it's very far-fetched, because yes, you're correct. I am streets reformed, and I would like anyone who wants to join me on this reformation, yeah, to follow the platform. If you want to make a difference in your life coming from the streets, you have a right to do that. Not because you've had a street life that's probably put you through some obstacles and certain things means that when people say, oh, you're from the streets, so you ain't gonna be nothing, that you should just stand on that. No, show them who you really are. And if you've been someone who's been a part of the streets, be proud of your mistakes, because if you didn't go through street things, you wouldn't have street wise to know how to handle yourself in these times, especially when you come from cultural homes where you may have been someone who's been in a single parent household. And if you have been in a 2-parent household and you still come from the streets, it's just one of those things that's unfortunate for you, depending on your case scenario. You just got to know that if you're going to be in the streets, it's something that is a life or death situation. And if you prefer to not be in the streets, then that's the way forward for you. So back to the original thing that I was saying. When I had been a part of dating people in the riffraff category, I never ever looked down on them. I just always saw it as, you guys are just doing what it is that you're doing. And the funniest thing is, most of the times when I was actually involved with people who was a part of the riffraff community, I was actually a professional person. So people think, oh, how are you professional and you're dating a cruff? Well, it is what it is. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do when you're judging someone by the person before you. If they happen to have a profession that's not for you, then you stay out of it. And if it's something that you indulge in, then you know what it is. As I am an adult now, I can say most of the times when I would have dated someone who was a cruff, they wasn't someone who had the intention to be a cruff forever. They just knew that what they knew of being in the streets and surviving, it's one of the quickest things to do to be able to make stuff happen for yourself. So I think when it comes to that, just pick the people that you want to date, much more wiser. And if you have to go through trials and tribulations with them, just hope for the best, that is someone that makes sense and that you are gonna be happy to go through all the trauma with. Wowzers, Energy Empire. You see? Are you following the storyline? Imagine that. The girl ends up leaving the stuff that she was meant to bring for her partner in the cab and gets bagged. Ooh, mental. And this is a story that is an everyday situation that can happen when you're from the streets. Many women have gone to prison for things that they've indulged in when it comes to men. And I know this very well because I am one of these people. But nevertheless, when it's my time to drop story types about the real one, the one and only Miss Keeks from the streets, we will handle that. Today it's about South Ldn Girl, Ms Banks storytelling. So yeah, Energy Empire, like I said, just to close this, because though it's just a story, it's a message behind it. Pick the men that you like wisely, and also ensure that you understand the standards that you set for yourself today and moving forward, and align your boundaries.
I know you've been having your days, and I know that you want him to stay, and I know things ain't going your way. There was a girl called Pam, it was her and a man. Them two against the world, and she ain't give a damn. Was known for moving that work, he was selling them grams. Had some issues with the law, in and out of the can. See, his name was Jack, he never had it like that. He was used to pissy flats, in and out with them cats. In the slum, pet Nizzy always where he was at. That was his habitat, he would smoke a lot of weed. But truth is, he was probably in need. Someone to take heed, maybe some therapy. Don't know why it's taboo when we struggle mentally. Like we crying for help, but this ain't telepathy. That's how it be for black men. Feeling all alone like nobody can back them. Can't be both, he can't face a problem with you. When black men are most prone to having mental health issues. See, Pam is on that shit.
That was key, was something about, yeah, that's it. She said, yeah, I'm loving that chorus. Nice. Second storyline again. 2 in 1. What you saying, Banks? You're moving like that, yeah? Got a lot to say. Yeah. And you know something, yeah? Even in this one here, when she talks about, because you know, yeah, one thing about the storytelling, if you're paying attention, she speaks on the first story about a female's perspective. Now, this second story, she's going over into a male's perspective, yeah? Now, one thing I saw what she said that was key was something about, yeah, that's it. She said, PE always where he was at. This was his habitat. He would smoke a lot of weed. But truth is, he was probably in need. Someone to take heed, maybe some therapy. Don't know why it's taboo when we struggle mentally, like we crying for help. But this telepathy, that's how it be for black men. Now, you know, that was big what she said, because a lot of the times you find that when it comes to men, there's this thing about them showing emotions because they're going to become weak and they're supposed to be strong all the time. So you find that a lot of men, they isolate or they become avoidance, which causes trauma and a lot of issues for themselves and the people that's surrounded by them. So I like the fact that in this bit, yeah, she highlighted the fact that black men, when they're using substances in certain cases, that it's for a sense of relief. And as a black female, I can relate to that. Some of the times, now that I've assessed my habits with smoking, when I was in my youthful stages, I could say that yes, smoking was a sense of release, a chill vibe, you know, and then you just get back to it. Even though it's short-lived, most people still want that high, so they become highly addicted. So I like the fact that she stated that sometimes when you see black men heavily on drugs, they are crying out for help. And this is where we can check up on our people. You see, when it comes to the black culture overall, we got to do better. And I don't want to keep saying that and acting like I'm preaching, because I'm not. But people who know me personally know this is how I am. And this is basically the way that I will speak on or off camera. So in my eyes, when it comes to the things that I see across the world, yeah, it's something that is key. All people across the world tend to have the same thing to say. No one's there to support them, or no one's this, or no one's that. And especially in our culture, it's much more harder because as black women, we always need to be strong because we have to fight against so many things within the world. And then as black men, it's the same thing. I can't say who has it worse because I am a female. I can only speak for myself. But when you look at the overall situation, it's a serious situation. Like, when it comes to critiquing someone and saying, oh, they're on drugs, or they're this, or they're that, before you start to make judgments, go and see if they need support. Check on them if you can do that. And if you could assist if it's not going to put you at risk or in financial loss. Yeah, we got to show compassion and empathy to people and give people grace. I'm not saying do it all the time because once get bitten, twice a fool, you understand? But just use your discernment when it comes to these things, because it's a key thing that she highlighted. Yeah, when it comes to black men, a lot of the reasons why we are suffering right now is because men are struggling to show their emotions. And when they do, we have some black women who will go against what they're saying, shut it down before they actually try to listen and hear what they're saying. And even when I say that, I know some people's gonna be like, oh, shut up, pick me, get the fuck out of my comment sections. How about that before you even think to drop anything? I'm telling you that straight. But anyway, Banksy. And disclaimer, as I know this is the internet and it gets messy and you have to be internet ready, street ready, prayer ready, every kind of ready, I do not do no type of drugs except for herbalism. Smoking marijuana. Hey. Anyways, and as we're on the subject, yeah, smoking weed is not cool. Smoking any kind of drugs is not cool. Indulging in any of it is not cool, but each to their own. If you want to do it, do what you do and do it with pride. It's that simple, because at the ending of the day, it's your life and it's only you. It's your life and it's only you that has to account to the Most High. So just make sure to drink, smoke, any type of substance that you indulge in, balloons, whatever the case it is, do it with self-awareness and caution, because these are not things that are healthy or good for the system. And also there's risks in taking these type of things. As we know, people lose their lives, people fall into depression, people fall into mental health, especially when it comes to weed. A lot of people fall into psychosis, and even when it comes to higher substances, a lot of people fall into addictions where they lose everything and they end up taking their own lives. So just be careful, be vigilant. And if you're someone who's considering smoking, speak to your personal family members that are adults that would be able to give you the knowledge and wisdom behind what it is that you're going to do, because in this life we already know that we each are going to do what we're going to do. But at least if you're going to do it and there's someone to give you some wisdom before you do it, fair play.
She had her own bit, but she was staying at her nan's while her crib got repaired. So Jack was with her too, she thought it was fair, cause every time she's home, he was always there. She thought they'll both be safe in her nan's care, but Jack was on the verge, she wasn't aware. Pam's nan will lock the doors when they inside, cause the area they lived in weren't a vibe. Jack felt like a hostage, thought they were being sniped, so the size nobody ain't making it out alive. He went inside the kitchen to grab a knife, looking Pam in the eye, she knew something went right. He killed her mum, the nan, the dad. Weed induced psychosis, he's going mad. Best could have seen a bloodbath when he got grabbed. Neighbors said they heard the screams when they got stabbed.
Wow. Imagine. I just said, Banksy, I like this storytelling. I'm looking forward to the album. What was the date again? Let's just double check that, Energy Empire. The date for the album is let me see. Let me pull up the files. Okay, the 13th of March. I repeat, the 13th of March. And as you saw, I screenshotted from her community post. She said, I know you guys were expecting the album this Friday, but I need just a little more time to make sure you guys get the full works. With that being said, South Ldn Lover Girl, the single will be dropping at midnight GMT, but the album will now be dropping 13th for the 3rd, 26. I hope you guys can wait, and I appreciate your patience in advance. I'ma still need your ears tonight. Bop, bop, bop. And you got my ears late, but it's always there. Never late when it comes to the Banks. You get me? Say no more, Energy Empire. Let's move.
Know you've been having your days, and I know that you want him to stay, and I know things ain't going your way, but no, don't go astray. No, don't go astray. I know you've been having your days, and I know that you want him to stay, and I know things ain't going your way, but no, don't go astray. No, don't go astray. Love takes getting used to. If she were you, what would you do? If she were you, what would you do? What would you do? Love takes getting used to. If she were you,